So we met, didn't we, after a nurse had put us in touch with each other.
Yeah.
Because we'd been through something similar with having a twin, losing a twin, and they had, well, similar names, wasn't
Very
it?
similar names.
Yeah, so our surviving twins were both Oscars, and the ones that we lost were Leo and Harry Leo.
Yeah.
I think it was really helpful for me to have someone who understood what it was like to be on the unit and be grieving or have your grief on hold while still worrying about whether or not you'd bring your other twin home or what was kind of in store. And for me, you were a bit like inspiration and like hope, really.
Mm-hmm. And for me, it was something totally different. I met Lottie 18 months after my twins were born, and Lottie was the first person that I'd ever met that had been through the same thing, and finally I felt like somebody understood me, which in a way was quite a weight lifted off my shoulders, because I was able to say how I felt and what I felt then, and Lottie was able to say that she'd experienced the same things. Sometimes when you go through situations like we went through, your mental thoughts can be very very different and sometimes quite scary, and we often had chats of I felt this and we felt that, and it was just lovely to hear somebody else had been through the same and thought the same as I did, and it was fine, it was okay to feel like that.
I think I found it hard to reach out to people I didn't know while I was on the unit, because all of my focus and energy had to be on the kids, and also just because that was my way of coping with it as well. But I think if it had been part of the clinical setting, to say every week or fortnight, month, whatever, someone comes in and talks to the parents and they've been through what you've been through, would you like to go? Here it is on the ward, I would have gone. I think if it was accessible in that way, yes, possibly I would have felt a little bit more comfortable in doing it.
We made friends with certain people on the unit who just had children there at the same time as us, but we didn't really have anybody that we could go to specifically say about our situation. After we'd been on the unit, we met people who'd gone through the same as us. But it would have been very useful to have someone on the unit who could have been there at all times, that we could have chatted to, even at different times of the day, because sometimes we would be there late at night and we'd be experiencing something that we hadn't really thought was going to happen, and it would have been nice to have gone to somebody to just chat that through, somebody who wasn't a medical professional, and obviously even better if they'd been through it themselves.
That's kind of what's needed, because on the unit, the main thing for the care assistants and the nurses is the little ones, and the parents, that yes, you get told, are you all right, or do you need anything, but it's better for, like, I think for me personally, we'd have had better time if there was somebody there for me and to understand. Like, it's fair enough getting a member of staff to come and speak to you and say, right, how are you feeling, do you need anything? But to me, I think you need somebody that's been through that situation, who fully understands what you're going through at that time, and what you're being told might not necessarily be true at the end of the journey. And for somebody to been through that situation and kind of be there for you and tell you that, yeah, today's not a good day, but tomorrow is another day, and it's one day closer to home, and it's one day closer to getting your child to where they need to be. And I think it needs to be done from someone that's been in that situation, so they have a better understanding of what's going on and what can happen and what does happen on the ward.
The main thing is that unless you've been through an experience of having a preterm or sick baby, nobody else knows what that's like, and you can connect with people often who've been through that experience. You know, it's maybe that you get support elsewhere, often, you know, family, friends, you know, that kind of support network, but it's not the same understanding, I don't think. I think it's very, very different to know what it feels like to be in those shoes. So I think it's absolutely needed, and I think it's greatly appreciated.